This is Jason Gunkel, Chief Investment Officer and Financial Planner at Severson Strege, and this is today's Finance Moment. What was President Ronald Regan referring to when he said, "It is as violent as a mugger, as frightening as an armed robber, and as deadly as a hitman"? He was actually referring to inflation. So is inflation really that frightening? The short answer is that low levels of inflation are not frightening at all and are actually good for the economy. But only when inflation is very high in the double digits, known as hyperinflation, can it be dangerous. Hyperinflation can cause a number of bad consequences for an economy. When prices rise excessively, cash or savings deposited in banks decreases in value or becomes worthless since the money has far less purchasing power. Also, people might not deposit their money in financial institutions, leading to banks and lenders to go out of business. Tax revenues may also fall if consumers and businesses can't pay, which could result in governments failing to provide basic services. And people may hoard goods and food because of rising prices, which in turn can create further supply shortages. But inflation is a good thing when it is mild. The Federal Reserve has set the official inflation target at 2% per year, but has recently said that it is willing to allow inflation to run higher for shorter periods of time. Inflation makes consumers expect prices to continue rising. When prices are going up, people want to buy now rather than pay later. This increases demand in the short term. As a result, stores sell more and they are likely to hire new workers to meet the demand. This helps to boost economic growth. Mild inflation also removes the risk of deflation. That's when prices fall and can be just as scary as hyperinflation. When that happens, people wait to see if prices will drop more before buying. It cuts back demand and businesses reduce their inventory and might lay off workers. For this reason, deflation can be even more harmful to economic growth than high inflation. The Federal Reserve strives for mild inflation to stimulate economic growth and can use different tools, including raising interest rates, to lower inflation if it gets too high. Raising interest rates has the negative effects of slowing economic growth and raising the cost of debt, including the cost of the U.S. government to service its own debt. Therefore, the Fed has a difficult balancing act between keeping inflation in check and stimulating economic growth. But they have done a great job of doing this after the decade of the 70s over a period called the Great Moderation, making inflation much less frightening. Thank you for listening to today's Finance Moment. Visit Severson Strege online at onlyworkforyou.com or call us at 515-225-6000.